The rain came down in sheets, a relentless drumming beat against the windows of our world. We thought it was just a storm, another angry Tuesday afternoon, but then we saw them. Drifting through the bruised purple clouds like ghosts. Silent metallic things, their surfaces shimmering with an unnatural light, almost blending in. They weren't falling, they were floating, descending with a purpose that sent a cold dread through every one of us. We called them the drones. The silent invasion had begun, not with a bang, but with a terrifying slow descent from a sky that no longer felt like our own. For weeks they just hung there watching, studying. It was a war of nerves, and we were losing. The constant presence above, a silent, unblinking audience to our growing panic. But humanity doesn't just panic. We adapt. We fight back. The first drone that fell, brought down by a lucky lightning strike, was a gift. Our scientists, our engineers, they tore it apart piece by piece, reverse engineering the impossible. That's how we got the cannons, salvaged from their own fallen brethren. These massive laser cannons were our first real answer. Our first scream of defiance against the silent invaders. I remember the day we first fired them. I was stationed at Firebase Alpha, a makeshift fortress built around the husk of a crashed alien scout ship. The air was thick with ozone and the smell of rain-soaked earth. The command came through the comms, crackling with static and anticipation. Fire at will, and then the world turned white. Beams of pure, blinding energy tore through the stormy sky, each shot a brilliant blue spear aimed at the heart of the swarm. For the first time, we saw them react. Drones shattered, their metallic hulls peeling away like fruit, their internal lights flickering out before they plummeted to the earth. The sound was deafening, a chorus of thunderclaps as our salvage technology met theirs. It was a beautiful, terrifying symphony of destruction. We weren't just ants fighting a boot anymore. We were fighting back. But for every one we shot down, 2 more seemed to take its place. They learned quickly. Their formations changed. Their movements became more erratic, more aggressive. They started firing back. Thin red slivers of energy that sliced through our defenses, turning concrete to molten slag and steel to steam. The war of nerves was over. The real war had begun. Our ground-based cannons were powerful, but they were static targets. We were playing defense, and it was a losing game. We needed to take the fight to them. We needed to get inside their swarm, to hit them where they were strongest, and hopefully where they were most vulnerable. That's where people like me came in. We were the Wasps, pilots of small, agile, single-person craft, designed for one thing: infiltration. Our ships were cobbled together, a Frankenstein's monster of human ingenuity and alien tech. They were fast, they were nimble, and they were barely held together with prayers and duct tape. My ship, I called her the Stinger. She was my wings, my shield, and my weapon. The mission was simple, suicidal, and our only hope. Get to the center of the largest drone cluster and deploy a new weapon, the impulse device. A citywide blackout just for them. The launch was a blur of G-forces and adrenaline. The canopy sealed, the world outside becoming a fisheye lens of gray sky and frantic ground crews. Then the catapult fired. I was thrown into the sky, a tiny metal dart aimed at a storm of predators. The moment I broke through the cloud cover, I was in their world. Drones were everywhere, a 3-dimensional maze of metal and death. Red energy beams crisscrossed the air around me. The Stinger's console screamed with proximity alerts. I pushed the stick, weaving, dodging, rolling. It wasn't flying, it was a dance. It's a deadly ballet at 1,000 feet, with one wrong move, meaning instant vaporization. I saw other wasps fall. Flash of light, a burst of static on the comms. And then silence. Each one was a punch to the gut, but there was no time for grief. All that mattered was the objective marker on my HUD, a blinking green dot at the heart of the chaos. I pushed the Stinger harder, her engine screaming in protest. A drone locked onto me, its central, eye glowing in intense red. I barrel rolled, the energy beams searing past my canopy, close enough to feel the heat. I fired back, my own small cannon spitting green plasma. A lucky shot. The drone shuddered and spun out of control, colliding with 2 others. A small victory, but it cleared a path. I was getting close. The density of the swarm was almost suffocating. The air crackled with energy. My HUD flickered, the alien interference growing stronger. The green dot was right in front of me now. It wasn't a single drone. It was a convergence point, a central nexus where the drones seemed to draw their coordinated power. This was it. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the roar of the engines. Stinger to command, I yelled into the comms, my voice hoarse. Target in sight. I'm going in. The reply was lost in static. I was on my own. My thumb hovered over the red button on my control stick. The impulse activation. This was a one-way trip. The pulse would fry their systems, but it would almost certainly fry mine too. No catapult to get me home this time, just a long fall. I took a deep breath, picturing the faces of my family, my friends, the world below that was counting on me, on us. I closed my eyes for a fraction of a second, a final moment of peace in the heart of the storm. Then I slammed the button. A wave of invisible force erupted from the Stinger. A silent, instantaneous shockwave of pure energy. The world went white, then black. My screens died. The roar of the engine was replaced by the terrifying whistle of the wind rushing past my dead ship. I was falling, but as I tumbled through the air, I saw it. It was working. All around me, drones were losing power. Their lights flickered and died. They stopped their deadly dance and began to fall, tumbling through the sky like metallic rain. Thousands of them, a silent, powerless cascade of our defeated enemy. We had done it. We had won. A grim smile touched my lips as my ship spun towards the earth. It was a good trade. But the story doesn't end there. As I fell, a miracle happened. The emergency power kicked in. It's just a flicker, but it was enough. The backup systems, shielded and primitive, brought the controls back online, just enough for me to wrestle the Stinger out of its death spiral and glide towards a controlled crash. I survived, battered, bruised, but alive. And for a moment, as I lay in the wreckage, looking up at the sky, there was peace. Da-da! The storm was breaking. The clouds were parting, revealing patches of blue for the first time in months. The rain of drones had stopped. Silence. But the silence was deceptive. As the sky cleared, we saw the truth. We hadn't won. We had only angered it. The remaining drones, the ones on the periphery of the pulse, didn't flee. They stopped, and then they began to move. Not with the chaos of a swarm, but with a horrifying, unified purpose. They rearranged themselves, their metallic bodies locking together, shifting, forming a new pattern against the backdrop of the setting sun. It was a picture, a mosaic made of thousands of killer machines. And as the final clouds parted, we saw what they had created on the horizon. A face, a colossal, terrifying alien face, its eyes burning with cold intelligence, looking down upon our world not with the indifference of a machine, but with the focused hatred of a conscious being. We hadn't been fighting an army, we had been fighting its cells, and now we had its full attention. The real war was just beginning. Thank you for watching. If you were captivated by this glimpse into our struggle, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what happens next.